In February 1959, something on the slopes of Russia's Dead Mountain drove 9 seasoned mountaineers to slash their way out of their own tent. They fled into a -30-degree blizzard, abandoning their heavy coats, their survival gear, and even their boots. When search teams finally recovered their bodies, the bizarre and gruesome injuries they found ignited a mystery that has baffled investigators for over 6 decades. Today, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains the most heavily debated cold case in Soviet history. To understand how anomalous this tragedy was, we have to look at the context. In 1959, the Soviet Union was gripped by Cold War paranoia and extreme state secrecy. But the 9 hikers, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, were largely removed from that tension. They were university students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, bound by close friendships and a shared love of the outdoors. They were also incredibly capable. This expedition across 300 kilometers of the brutal northern Ural Mountains was designed to earn them a Grade 3 certification, the highest mountaineering qualification available at the time. Their journey took them deep into the remote taiga, dropping them days away from the nearest settlement and entirely out of reach of rapid rescue. Cameras and diaries recovered from the site show a textbook expedition. The group maintained high morale and followed strict safety protocols right up until the evening of February 1st. Their unquestionable expertise is why their panicked flight from a secure shelter makes so little sense. This map of the crime scene illustrates one of the strangest details. The snow around their ruined tent preserved 9 sets of parallel footprints. They showed the group walking, not running, downhill toward a distant tree line. Nearly a mile away, searchers found the first 5 bodies clustered near a makeshift fire pit. Autopsies confirmed they died of exposure to the extreme cold. It took months for the spring thaw to reveal the remaining 4 hikers, buried under 13 feet of snow in a nearby ravine. The forensic findings for this group were entirely different. They had shattered skulls and crushed chests, with medical examiners comparing the internal force to a high-speed vehicle collision. Yet these massive internal traumas occurred without a single external cut, bruise, or scrape to indicate a physical struggle. Even stranger, some victims were missing their eyes and tongues, and investigators detected trace amounts of beta radiation on several pieces of clothing. The orderly footprints, the sudden freezing, crash-level trauma, and the radiation. This contradictory collection of evidence quickly turned the investigation into a breeding ground for wild theories. Early speculation pointed to a territorial ambush by the local indigenous Mansi people. However, the pristine snow around the tent only held the footprints of the 9 hikers. No external tracks meant no outside attackers. The focus then shifted to the Soviet military. Sightings of glowing orange spheres in the sky and the radioactive clothing fueled rumors of a weapons test gone wrong. But investigators found no blast craters or shrapnel anywhere on the mountain. As for the radiation, it was eventually traced to the mundane thorium used in standard camping lantern mantles. Other investigators looked to extreme natural phenomena, suggesting that hurricane-force katabatic winds or naturally occurring low-frequency sound waves triggered a sudden psychological panic. While wind might explain why they cut their tent, it completely fails to explain how 4 hikers sustained localized, crushing bone fractures. Neither covert military operations nor paranormal explanations can satisfy the strict physical constraints of the crime scene. In 2021, researchers from 2 Swiss institutes applied modern computational modeling to the exact physics and topography of the slope on that specific night. This cross-section shows the fatal calculation the hikers made. Digging a level trench into the incline unknowingly created a stress fracture in the snowpack above them. Over the next several hours, fierce winds piled a massive amount of weight directly over that compromised fracture. Eventually, a small but incredibly dense block of icy snow gave way. It slid silently in the darkness and slammed directly into the canvas tent. This concentrated impact of solid snow explains the severe rib and skull fractures without external bruises. It also explains why the injured, terrified group immediately slashed their way out. The missing soft tissue on the ravine victims was not part of an attack, but standard post-mortem scavenging after the bodies laid submerged in a running stream for months. After 60 years of speculation, The delayed slab avalanche is the only model that successfully aligns with every piece of forensic and environmental data. While physics and computer models can reconstruct the mechanical cause of their injuries, no algorithm can recreate the desperate human reality of those final hours. The evidence cannot tell us how they dragged their mortally wounded friends down the pitch-black mountain, or what they said to one another as the cold finally overtook them. The Dyatlov Pass incident is a haunting testament to the unforgiving power of nature, a tragedy that belongs entirely to the silence of the mountain.